No, but there's some queer relationships in the Bible, and that'll blow some minds. We've talked about David and Jonathan on this show and on Tell Me Everything with John Fugelsang, which Dee and I do on Wednesdays. What are some of your favorite queer relationships or examples of queerness in the Bible? And if it's David and Jonathan, run with that. But tell us about those.
Well, I just want to say at the start, I know when people hear that, they probably roll their eyes, because I rolled my eyes 10 years ago when I heard people trying to read gay relationships into the Bible. And I don't come to this topic lightly. I don't want to just read things into the scripture for the hell of it. But when I started doing my PhD, honestly, I began reading some of these ancient rabbinic texts about especially Hebrew Bible characters. And stories like Joseph, people will know him as Joseph and his amazing Technicolor dream coat, Joseph who gets the coat of many colors. The rabbis, 1,500 years ago, were writing about this story as either a gay or a gender nonconforming young man who's given a garment that is in Hebrew called kinet pasim, which means women's garment. It's a gendered term. It means, so he's wearing this garment given by his father that does not align with his gender, and ends up getting bullied and almost killed by his brothers for wearing it. But because his father supports him throughout the entirety of his journey, Joseph ends up being able to overcome the hatred and the oppression, and he becomes one of the great leaders of Israel. Like, that's one of the stories of the Hebrew Bible that has ample evidence from rabbinic writings that it has a queer connotation to it. And when I read that with that queer lens for the first time, it blew my mind, because what's actually more interesting about that story is not that Joseph is gender nonconforming, but that his father affirmed him in his gender nonconforming, gave him a garment that was not aligned with his gender, stood up for him against the oppression of his brothers. And I just thought, if we could only teach this in its actual context in our Sunday schools, how many parents could have been inspired to respond to their queer youth better?
Yes.
And there are so many of those stories. I highlight 5 of them in the book, but there are many more. And if people are interested in this in a real way, the Queer Bible Commentary is done by some of the best queer theologians in the world. And it goes through every book of the Bible, and it pulls out the things that are inherently queer from a historical contextual perspective from all over the Bible.
Yeah, that story kind of highlights one of the things that people like us know, is that there are inconsistencies in the canon, and that story happens before what they say in Deuteronomy about not wearing women's clothes. Men shouldn't wear women's clothes and vice versa. So again, not a consistent thing, but that did blow my mind. We did not talk about that in that class that I took. And when you pointed out what that word meant, I was like, holy crap, that changes the whole story. Like, if you know that that's what that word means, that radically alters the reading of it. And then the rabbinic, the texts that go along with that.